I don't mind you guys asking me for proof to prove all things, but I'll tell you what, people, what more evidence do you need that when you're rolling over, I'm truly rolling out, getting stuff done. In the wee hours, under the cover of darkness, that's when I operate my best. I removed the cover, tried my usual startup of the Wayback Machine. I recorded this earlier. You can kind of see I'm having some issues here. And I could never get the bitch up to RPMs. And as you can hear, I'll stop it here now, people. As you can hear, I think there's a vacuum line leak in one of the components. I'll get it fixed by tomorrow. Adding this repair to my huge list of stuff to do for today. Man, there is just no rest for the wicked. And it is, excuse me, Thursday the 14th of July, 2022. So, I'll fix that vacuum line leak, and we will travel back to 1968 tomorrow. Well, what the hell? I was going to start today's podcast with the top 10 songs in 1968, kind of jog you back to reality, and then a little bit about the Vietnam War and how that was going back in 1968. Yeah, people, the Vietnam War plays a major role in the greatest, biggest take ever, bank robbery in American history. For rightly did Shakespeare say, "Giddy," which means occupy the people's minds with foreign wars, and you can do anything you want to them back home. Anything, people. That includes bank robbery. Wow. I'm quoting Shakespeare. What an educated channel. I see why the bottom feeders, the room temp plus 7 bottom feeders that is, struggle with this channel. Anyway, let's get the top 10 and the Vietnam War 1968 info out of the way today, so I won't have to bother with these tomorrow. Top 10, 1968. You ready for it? I don't recognize some of these songs. Number 1, The Beatles, Hey Jude. Number 2, Mary Hopkin, Those Were the Days. Number 3, The Rolling Stones, Jumpin' Jack Flash. Number 4, Tom Jones, Delilah. Remember that one. Number 5, Barry Ryan, Eloise. I don't know that one. Number 6, The Beatles again. You know, they're always beating Creedence Clearwater Revival out of the top 10. The Beatles, Lady Madonna. Number 7, Otis Redding, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. Number 8, John Fred and the Playboy Band, Judy in Disguise with Glasses. Number 9, Louis Armstrong, What a Wonderful World. And number 10, Bobby Goldsboro, Honey. How cool is that, huh? Bringing back some memories. Some of you old effing boomers out there, remember some of those? I didn't know that one. Okay, quickly over to the 1968 in Vietnam. Yeah, some major developments, no doubt about it. U.S. troop numbers peaked in 1968 with President Johnson. I'm reading from Wikipedia, people, the source of all secular knowledge in the world. Don't doubt me. With President Johnson approving an increased number of U.S. troops in Vietnam at 549,500. The year was the most expensive in the Vietnam War, with America spending $77.4 billion. That would be $603 billion in 2022 on the war. The year also became the deadliest of the Vietnam War for America and its allies, with 27,915 urban soldiers killed, Army Republic of Vietnam. Ostensibly, those were the people on our side. And the Americans suffering 16,592 killed, compared to around 200,000 of the enemy. Okay, the deadliest day of the Vietnam War for the U.S. in 1968 was 31 January. At the start of the Tet Offense, where 246 Americans were killed in action. Yeah, people, Walter Cronkite, the other newscasters, they were really keeping our attention focused onto the body counts of the Vietnam War. Okay, now how many times, people, must I tell you, must I remind you, there's not a dime's worth of difference between Republicans and demon rats. I've told you, keep telling you it over and over again. Two wings, people, same bird, not the American eagle. You've been lied to. Your history's all effed up. No, the Masonic Phoenix. Yep, the two-headed bird. Amaruko, people, land of the plumed serpent. And how's the Ukraine war going? Well, Russia's kicking their ass. I told you so. So much so, in fact, the Ukraine government is drafting women. No sacrifice is too great for Mary's people. Murray's War. Amazing. And I've often wondered, what is wrong with the people of states like New York, Massachusetts, California, and Minnesota, right next door? What's wrong with these people that these people continue to select such bankster-owned puppets to represent them in Congress, House, and Senate? Well, unfortunately, it turns out North Dakota isn't immune from this insanity. Oh no. One of our Republicant, fully owned, bought and paid for senators, yep, Kevin Cramer, made the Tucker Carlson show last night. Not good, people. Not good at all. Alright, Tucker, what do you got to say about him?
All of this is necessary. It's mandatory. We must, according to members of both parties, because we must defend democracy. Now, we're not picking on Senator Kevin Cramer of North Dakota, a Republican state, but we want to show you this tape. He just sat for an interview with Charlie Kirk and explained that we have to send an unlimited amount of money to Ukraine. Why? To, quote, fight back against communist intrusion for the cause of freedom because Vladimir Putin is evil. Watch.
What amount of money is too much to send to Ukraine? Because we just did $1.7 billion more. Where's the line? Because we're up near $56 billion now.
Sure. Well, I don't know that the line is a dollar amount, Charlie. I think each request or each requirement, each demand, each circumstance requires its own discovery, if you will. I don't think we should do a whole bunch necessarily at one time. I think that we should do smaller tranches just for the purpose of renegotiating.
Smaller purchases that equal a whole bunch. You double talking piece of shit.
Assessing the price of letting Ukraine fall to Russia, to the United States taxpayer, and to the cause of liberty, I think is very, very high.
Yeah, fighting the communist menace. These people never update their talking points. Senator Cramer invokes the cause of liberty, and that's a phrase we strongly support. That's an idea we strongly support. That's why we're in favor of unfettered free speech. That's why we oppose vaccine mandates. But you have to ask yourself, what does the cause of liberty have to do with Ukraine? Well, very little. Last February, the Ukrainian government shut down opposition media. Then they arrested the leader of the main opposition party. Now, President Zelensky has decided to combine all television stations in Ukraine into a state-owned propaganda ministry in order to combat, quote, misinformation.
You know, you can sum up the Ukraine. You want to know all about it? You don't have to do any research, people. No more researching than search out where Murray is. Ask him. He can tell you all there is to know about the Ukraine. All right, finally. Now, if you aren't aware of this piece of news, I don't know where you guys have been hiding. It's everywhere. The city of New York, yep, the Big Apple with a worm in it. The city of New York's emergency management has put out a public service announcement, a PSA, to its citizens, what to do when the big one hits. Tucker covered it, but by no means was he alone. And how did you miss this? And I've got to set this up real quick, people. Get it up here to the 17-minute mark. I'm getting there. Patience. Oh, come on. How long does it take to get... Oh, there we go. Just missed it. Close enough. Here we go.
The American economy is in serious trouble. It's heading south faster than anyone anticipated. But instead, you flip on CNBC, and the geniuses are talking about World War III. And they're not the only ones. So if you want to know how big this has become, how ominous this is, in the absence of attention from the rest of us, we've kind of sleptwalked up to this point, you should see this. This is from the city of New York, our largest city. This is a public service announcement reminding the 8 million residents of New York they could soon be nuked.
So there's been a nuclear attack. Don't ask me how or why, just know that the big one has hit, okay? So what do? Step 1, get inside fast. You, your friends, your family, get inside. Stay inside. Shut all doors and windows. Have a basement? Head there. If you were outside after the blast, get clean immediately. Remove and bag all outer clothing to keep radioactive dust or ash away from your body.
What? Now, if you were drinking beer and that came on TV, you'd think maybe she was giving you advice on what to do if your basement floods or if there's a heat wave. Then you get to the part where she says radioactive dust and you snap to it. Radioactive dust? You're suggesting that someone might lob a nuclear weapon into our largest city? What? Why did Sherpy tell? What the hell are you talking about? How do we get so close to nuclear war that the city of New York is telling me to wash the radioactive dust off my pants?
You know, it is insanity, people. And for your edification and amusement, I have linked in the pinned comments below the full, I don't know, about 2 minutes long, public service announcement from the Big Apple. Watch it or don't. Yeah, why are they talking about nuclear wars? Can't figure that one out. And what stupid, asinine, insane, ridiculous, infantile, and childish advice. Run inside, people. Run fast. You gotta run faster than the shock wave, the heat wave, the blast, the flash of blinding light. New York City would be in rubbles. Now, here's the thing. They're gonna finger Russia. And I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but I think there is a country that already has nukes in the embassy basement of their country's embassy in the Big Apple in D.C. Just saying, people. Bet you can't guess, but they might be a benefactor of Ukrainian new homeland. Like I said, when you want to know about the Ukraine, talk to Murray, because Murray knows a lot about the Ukraine, and he knows how to mooch drinks. All right, people. All right, so tomorrow we will travel back to 1968. Oh, yeah, it'll be fixed. I'll get that vacuum line leak fixed. What more evidence do you need that I've got stuff to do?